Checking. Do. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Now you say something, geek.
Check, check.
How's that sound compared to you and me?
I sound a little loud, but not terrible.
Okay, I'm gonna beef me up a little bit. How about now? That may be too loud.
You sound pretty strong. What about me? I sound fine. You were a little stronger, louder, not terrible.
Okay, adjusting a little bit lower. How about now?
I'd say it's pretty good.
All right then. Let's get cracking. Ha ha! Speaking of cracking.
Jokes.
Here's our.
I'm leaving the stream because it's giving me bounce backs. So.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, it's hard to listen to yourself and.
Yes.
So yeah, speaking of Kraken, we've got 3 Krakens on table 1 through 4. Table 3 being the only one without one. This is.
It's okay. Table 3, you're still doing pretty good.
I'm Biggs, by the way.
Oh, I'm Geek.
I'm running this show, and Geek was part of it, and then didn't quite make the cut. That's
part
okay.
of it. I am a skeleton in the David S. Pumpkins of life.
All right, so we're gonna go over the round 2 matchups for the Vassal World Cup for Star Wars Armada today. We've got a heck of a top 6 preview for you. Lots of names that you'll probably be familiar with, some names that you might not be familiar with, some commanders that you might not be familiar with, and a lot of commanders that you will know and love immediately.
Love is a strong word.
Love is a strong word. So let's jump right into it. Top table, we had quite a few. We had 3 10s coming out of round 1 of Swiss. That is a lot of 10s. And of the 10s, Roquax and Real Veers won the prize of getting paired up against one another. Louis Andre gets bumped down to table 2. So, we've got Roquax is a North American player, Real Veers an EU player. Roquax is running a Kraken list. He's running Admonition and Foresight, plus some flotillas. We've got 6 YT-2400s, Lando, and a Lancer. And one of those flotillas is awfully beefy.
Yeah, I see it with the 8R Talon there. And munitions resupply to make everybody extra angry in their confires.
Right. So Real Veers, on the other hand, is running kind of the exact opposite of hard-to-kill MC30s and rogues, in that he's running 134-point Sloan Moralo and Phantoms for his squad ball.
Oh boy.
He's got a Squall Quasar to push them, some flotillas, a TRC Architans, and a Raider 1 for his flagship. And Sloan as the commander. So, that's a matchup, all right. And it all comes down to, can Admo and Foresight cap the capital ships, if you will, before the Sloan squadrons chew through the YT-2400s? And that's not
The
an easy proposition.
It's not the. I will say though the Sloan upside of being able to spend opposing aces tokens kind of immediately goes away when the only ace is Lando staring across the table from them, and there's some mean squads there, and there's definitely Morello and a couple lambdas, but it's gonna come down to, I think it's gonna come down to the squads. It's gonna be a cutthroat game.
Squad battle. Can Morello? I didn't look at the bids, but can Morello do his get that bid and get his objectives to go hog wild?
No, no.
Okay then.
Roquex has the bid, so if he wants to, he can go second. Problem is that does give the Morello list last plus first. So
This is true. Not the best of decisions, especially when you're running an Admo Foresight list. You're probably wanting to go first yourself. Yeah. I mean, both of these guys are pretty well established names in Armada. Real Veer's more. He's more new to Vassal, if I'm remembering right. Was he in the... I can't remember if he was in the World Cup last year, but I know he's not... He's definitely not unheard of. So we can't even tip the hat to name recognition, and honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to tip the hat to name recognition for any of these matchups.
should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm calling this one a toss-up. It could swing either way. There's a whole lot of decision points. Could wind up just going to whoever makes the last mistake.
I've had those games.
This should be exciting. Keep your eyes open on the Discords for whenever they say that this is playing, so that you can hop on and take a look yourself. So let's move on to Table 2 here. Table 2, we've got Louis Andre and Ras Proteus. Louis Andre being our French-Canadian friend. Ras Proteus being a well-known North American player. And we've got Agate versus Kraken, but maybe not the Agate you think you're going to be up against.
Agate is on clearly a big, strong ship. Let's say MC-75, or is it an MC-80?
It's an assault frigate Mark II-B. There is one additional combat ship, and that combat ship is a CR-90.
I'm going to guess another... Oh, I was going to guess another assault frigate.
Nope, an assault frigate Mark II-B and a CR-90. That is 10 hull standing between Louis Andre and a table. And he's got 2 GR-75s, including one just absolutely beefy boy.
No other way to build them, right?
And a Biggs ball for squadron cover.
It's a strong looking Biggs ball too. Should be able to fight off any Sloaney faces.
Well,
it's a good thing that
unfortunately,
Ras Proteus isn't running Sloan.
Unfortunately, Ras Proteus is not running Sloan. He is running Kraken, and his Kraken is 3 CR-90As with TRCs, because of course, and 3 Hammerhead torpedoes. And 55 points of A-wings.
And a flotilla.
And a flotilla hiding in there that I forgot to write
he was
down.
in my pod. I remember that list.
I forgot to write the flotilla down. So that is a lot of ships. That is a lot of combat ships. And having seen Louis Andre play many tournament games over the last year or so, I can't rule him out of literally any game that he's in, but I got to give the nod to Rasp for this one. I think that he's got absolutely the list to face off against 10 points of hull?
I think he's got a good chance at it. It's going to come down to, with Kraken being Kraken, you're usually going to get one pass and then maybe another one later in the game, and it's if he can take out the 90 and then focus all his fire on the assault frigate without losing too many ships, he can do it. But it's going to be, that's the trick right there, is don't lose too many ships. That's how you win games, you see.
Yeah,
this brilliant Madden insights I'm offering.
Louis can still win it if he's cagey. And he can certainly be cagey.
I was gonna say I've seen some games. He's that might be one way to describe him.
I'm still got to give in a straight up fight, there's no way Rasproteus doesn't win, but will there be a straight up fight?
Anything else we can do to jinx Justin Rasproteus while we're talking?
Oh, that's a fair question. Anyway, Louis Andre is the remaining 10-pointer from Swiss round 1. Rasp is one of the 9-pointers, bumped up due to random number generations. For random number generations, for who gets paired against who in equal Swiss score, we're using Google Documents random number generator. So if you're paired up against someone you don't want to be paired up against, blame yourself or God.
Trick question. Ditka is. Oh my god!
All right, so let's move on to round table 3 here, and we've got a couple of European players here. We've got Gorit, who, if I recall correctly, is like he was the German either tabletop or vassal champion from last year. And James Morgan, who I know very little about, but who emerged out of nowhere in a very competitive EU pod. Let me just look up which pod that was, because
while you're doing
escaping
that,
me.
Garrett?
Yeah.
Gorit's running a Gergerod, if I'm looking at this right. So 2 Raiders, one a Raider 1, one a Raider 2. The other being two Gazantes and a Quasar with Squall and a mean-looking little squad ball. The old school fireball is back. Reimer, 2 fire sprays, Merrick, Mauler, Jendon, and Tempest. And,
it's been a while since we've been talking about a good old-fashioned fireball. Fireball being fire spray, bomber ball. And there are certainly fire sprays in there.
If it wouldn't get us sued, it'd be the perfect time to play that Pitbull song.
So yeah, Jerry for Gorit, Jerry is on the Corvus, so his flagship will be able to redeploy wherever it needs to go. Looking up James Morgan again, he emerged with 26 points, 2 10-1s coming out of Pod Dodana, which had former champion Nebulon B and Saska and Rimzen. Saska still being in the tournament. And actually, we may mention that name again later on. We'll get to that. But he is running a Sloan Onager, Squall, Demo, no flotilla, so just 3 ships, and 106 points of mostly interceptors. So like the perfect thing to farm down a fireball.
Just gotta get through enough, really.
I'm not sure between 2 Raiders and Corvus, I'm not sure he'll be able to catch every single combat ship that Gorit has. If he's, but I think he's got the advantage in this one, and it'd be more his to lose than the other way around.
I mean, that Onager's going to go right up against the Quasar as soon as it can, and it's a matter of keeping that alive or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 106 points of interceptors match up very well against max point aces and fire sprays. So I feel like it's an even trade in the squadron battle, probably an easy squall kill, and then it's just mop up duty, and whether or not the Raiders can get away. That's my prediction anyway. I'm giving this one to James Morgan.
Imperials fly ships, and if you know me, you know I don't know enough to comment on things. So, 6-5 all around. There we go.
Okay.
Who's getting that 6? Who's getting that 5? That's a good question.
Speaking of 6-5s, here's two players that probably wish the other one got a 6-5 in the last round. Table 4 is Truthiness versus Mandalorian Moose, a.k.a. Sam.
I will point out that since you and I are here talking, Truthiness never actually followed through on that threat to kill us, so clearly he still doesn't know how to use the internet. I'm gonna run this joke into the ground. It'll be great.
as well you should. So Truthiness he's running the Krakinator. It's an MC30 admonition Kraken and 3 Turbo Laser Reroute Circuit Engine Tech CR90As. And then he's got a fighter ball of 4 YT-2400s, Lando, and Shara. And if you're listening to our voice and you don't know who Truthiness is, go listen to my podcast.
Well, you have a podcast?
I have a podcast, and you're on it quite frequently. Well,
okay, more punches, and I get a free donut.
Schmitty has a podcast, and I have the associated Discord. But anyway, so moving on to Sam/Mandalorian Moose. He's running a Tarkin on an Architans, an Onager, 2 Gazantes, one has Chirpy and Vector on it, and 128 points of mostly anti-squadron fighters.
And Merrick Mornagendon, which is all you need.
Merrick Mornagendon, yeah. Which can double as anti-squadron, and can also bomb.
Sure. Yeah. It's a mean-looking squad ball right there.
Mean list. Neither one of these guys wanted to play each other, I'm guessing. And, Truthiness's build is very good against Onagers. Sam's build is, it's Sam, so he's very good against everybody. He emerged with the perfect score from the pod round and last round of Swiss. He actually, like in an anime where they're fighting let's actually go with All This for a Drop of Blood from from Marvel. But yeah, you've got just a drop of blood fell from him, proving that he's not completely invincible. The outside of the pod round has been where he falters in the past, so we'll have to see what this game entails. I think Truthy would kill us if we don't give it to him. So yeah, Truthy's gonna win. Moving on.
Truth is flying rebels. So yep, he's gonna win. I think in this metaphor, if Sam is Thanos, that makes Truth Iron Man, and I'm gonna be Hawkeye.
Captain America. Come on, Captain America. Truthiness has to be Captain America.
That's fair. Are you Doctor Strange then, or who are you? I'm Hawkeye. I am definitely helping.
You are definitely participating. I think I'm Ant-Man, honestly.
That's better than Hawkeye. No one wants to be Hawkeye.
I'm a surprisingly competent joke.
Anyway. Table 5.
Table 5. Let's talk about Angry Ewok and Akbar build versus Green Knight a Ramadi build. We've got to say Angry Ewok's North American, Green Knight is European, and we wouldn't have Vassal if Green Knight didn't give it to us. So mad props to him for that. So Akbar list. What do you think when you hear Akbar list?
I have flown near Adam at Angry Ewok, and I've seen what he can do with Akbar, and it is a frightening thing. He's always been really good down in Atlanta. I believe he lives in South Carolina, if I remember what I was told correctly. And it's what he's flying is not your prototypical Akbar list. But
it's not. I actually put a couple of question marks in my notes here because it's an Akbar assault frigate Mark II with slaved turrets. And then we've got two TRC-90s, so Turbo Laser Reroute Circuit CR-90As, two GR-75s. I wrote down A-Wings, and by that I mean Tycho, Shara, and two generic A-Wings, Hera Syndulla, and Ketsu. Which, okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, Green Knight is running 69 points of Imperial Aces. We've got Merrick, Jendon, Mauler, Valen, which is a nasty little ball of hate. He's got an Onager. He's got Ramadi on an ISD-2 kitted out for Bear, and two Gozers. Two Gazantis. I believe one of them is the Gazanti that we're seeing a ton of, which is Comsnet Darth Vader Officer.
That and the new, its new bigger brother, the Vector Shirano boosted comms one, is making its comeback there too.
So is there enough oomph in this Angry Ewok list to knock out either the Onager or the ISD and escape with a win?
I think it's going to depend on how fast he can beat the squad ball down, which 105 points of very good anti-squad versus 65, did you say, of Imperial anti-squad?
69.
Yeah, they're scatter
69
aces.
points
69.
of somewhat scatter aces, somewhat tank aces.
Yeah, if it depends on how the dice roll in there, but the faster those squads burn down, the more time the 290s and the assault frigate have to work against ships. And I have flown that assault frigate myself for several worlds ago, and I've started recently reflying it after watching it do good work. And it kicks like a mule. It's a mean ship.
It's definitely not the kind of assault frigate I'd be flying. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It makes me like, slave turrets, really?
Slave turrets
Really?
and intel officer and Kaiken and Sholin say my side arc hurts. Here's what 6 red, and if I were 6 red and then 7 with a confire, I re-roll the ones I want.
Which is fine, but the Onager just straight up outranges you. Who's got the bid on this?
Does Green Knight have a 13-point bid or more?
I'm gonna guess not.
No, then it looks like Angry Ewok has it.
Okay, well then I'm gonna give the nudge to Ewok on this one. I feel like I feel like first player's the winning play here. So
Rebels
final
the Imperials, so I'm giving it to Rebels.
All right, so final here. Oh, you're not going to be able to Rebels versus Imperials this one, my friend. On table 6, we have Roald. We have Roald versus 187 Leon. It is an EU versus EU, so that means the top 6 has 6 North American players and 6 European players.
Nice.
Roald is running Count Dooku on Salna Laor. Tide of Progress 12.
Do you want to try and re-say that name there? It kind of stumbled like 4 ways through that.
Sa-na-la-or.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, that looks like how it is. All right, go on. Sorry.
So, Sa-na-la-or, Tide of Progress 12, and Foreman's Burden. Am I right on that? Foreman's something. I just wrote down Foreman's, and I haven't memorized them all yet. Shame on me.
Labor.
Foreman's Labor, right. Beast of Burden's the other one. But he doesn't have Beast of Burden. He just has Foreman's Labor. So 3 ships, and he has 108 points of squadrons, which is primarily a hyena ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that is versus a Sloan list. We've got Sloan on Corvus, Squall with Chirpy on board. That's Admiral Chernow. And Architans with turbolaser reroute circuits, a Vector Gazanti, and a fighter ball comprised primarily of TIE defenders. And I don't think that hyena ball will stand up too well against a bunch of TIE defenders.
It will if Roald does the Dooku squad raid. I mean, he could pick any tokens. He could pick the squad raid at the right time.
He could pick any token at all, but it'll probably be two squadrons and something else.
Yep, got that right.
So then that I mean, theoretically, you can just bank squadrons round 1, and then you're fine for round 2, but.
Because that's the one issue I see there is the Quasar, the already very squishy ship that doesn't want to be navigating into trouble, is going to be taking a squadron token on round
instead
1
of a navigate.
Yep.
And the Gazanti is really built to want that squadron plus token, command plus token, and it's not going to be able to. So. Well, that will be interesting to see if Dooku can work some more magic. He is currently the highest placed non-rebel or Imperial commander here. I know there's another Kraken in here, which we're not going down at table 7, but we're not going to talk about table 7, even though we probably should, because I didn't make any notes for table 7, and these things run a little too long anyway. We'll just say Paul Heaver has Kraken, Aresius has Agate. They're going to fight each other.
That is going to be both bloody and an amazing game to watch.
I feel like looking at this now that I shouldn't have cut us off at table 6, because whoo-wee, that is a game. Europe one of the finest players of Europe versus one of the finest Armada squadron battles players of America.
Here, I can do a quick one. Aresius has a Liberty Agate build, built to kill, and a whole bunch of backup for it, and with a lot of the upgrades going right on that Liberty. And Paul decided Kraken and Link Turbo Laser turrets was enough upgrades on 3 of his 4 ships.
What more do you need, right?
Really don't. Yep. And so it's going to be very much a matter of who can get the. It's going to be navigating. It's going to be a knife fight dance kind of battle, like a West Side Story. For you kids listening, that's a musical. Wow, I'm dating myself here.
There's some snapping involved, I think.
There's much snapping involved. When the snaps come out, that's when you know things are getting serious in the
the most serious snapping.
Alright. I feel we should talk about table 8, but I'm gonna at some point we're gonna cut this off.
We do. We'll just say just say what Paul's flying. Just say what Paul's flying really quick. Paul Gator he's got a Jerry, and he is flying
the only Superstar Destroyer left?
Heck yes, and he's up against an Agate, so I think we've got Starhawk versus Super, which
the Red Scourge in Table 8 there, and I do want to mention his name because I did forget it last time like a jerk, so that's on me. Sorry.
Okay.
No, it's a Starhawk versus a Super. It's the ye old Wave 8 battle.
Oh, yep. So
a year old.
So let's talk about a little section because we don't have time to go through every single game. So let's go through a section that I like to call the submarine watch, and pretend I have some like submarine sound effect here that I don't, but like. Boom, boom.
This is the highest quality. This is the highest quality.
Watch for enemies.
You didn't pay for.
I'm hearing something on the sonar, sir. It's table 13, Cameron versus Saska. So, with the idea behind Submarine
Watch.
Watch...
list on screen, sir, or whatever the hell we're doing with this.
So the idea with Submarine Watch is to submarine in Armada is to lose your first game and then wind up getting better matchups because you're matching up against other people that lost and using those good matchups to propel you back up the standings in a way that you wouldn't have necessarily have been able to if you won your first game and got paired up against another big winner. So we're going to look at Cameron versus Saska here, and I want you to tell me who I think the submarine is and who's the merchant marine ship that's gonna get blown up, or argue with me and say that it's a hidden combat ship that a hidden submarine destroyer disguised as a merchant that's gonna sink the sub. So
when do I bring up Godzilla?
So Cameron is running a Jaina's Light Mon Mothma. He's also got Admonition and Foresight, a CR-90A with turbolaser reroute circuits, a Comsnet Ahsoka Flotilla, and Lando Shara Tycho as the officers, or as the squadrons.
Yep.
Saska, on the other hand, has an Assault Frigate Mark II Akbar, Admonition and Foresight, a Comsnet Bright Hope, and Lando, Shara, and Tycho as his squads. So, identical squad builds. Who wins in a 1.5 world? Mothma with Jaina's Light, a CR-90A with TRC, Admonition and Foresight, or an Assault Frigate Mark II Akbar, Admonition, Foresight?
I want to give it to the Akbar list, as Akbar was my homie for a while there before I started playing Leia. But the issue is, if you can get in the front of any of those ships, they are not hitting as hard as they would be with Akbar. And because he out-deploys them a little more, if you can get the front of that assault frigate, Akbar has a very bad time. So I'm going to give it to Cameron, but these are both two very good lists, and I would fly either one of them happily. So
here's why I think Cameron's the submarine. Because not only does Cameron have deployment, and he has first player, which I think first player is going to be key in this because he's got the potential to last first with Admo and then last first with Foresight, or the other way around. And has the maneuverability to get in front of the assault frigate flagship. So I think that this is a chance for Cameron to pick up a good-sized win and be right back into the mix of things.
Yeah. It's like I said, I like both their lists. Those are both really good lists.
I do like them both. I mean, there's definitely Saska could turn turn the tables completely and have this go completely the opposite direction. All Akbar needs is to get some good rolls on the red dice, and it doesn't matter how good you fly. So, I mean, we've got another periscope spotted on the horizon.
You spotted a periscope. Do I get to bring that up, or are we're just gonna gloss on by that?
We've got down at table 15. I've got another potential submarine. So we've got Docta versus Armchair Jedi, both North American players. Docta has a Mahdi Onager, a Harrow VSD squadron pusher.
Nice.
A Gazanti with boosted comms, and something that I haven't seen like in a long time, a Decimator Ball.
Ooh.
Now
old
that is
school.
that is old school and fancy in a way that like the land of Sloane just doesn't allow anymore. Meanwhile, Armchair Jedi is running a Kuat with Screed on board, 3 Gladiator class Star Destroyer 1s, all kitted out exactly the same except for the officer, none of which have demo, and a Gazanti with Darth Vader officer.
And Comsnet.
And Comsnet and no squats. Can you... First off, who's obviously the submarine here?
Depending on how well that Decimator Ball rolls, I'm gonna say that Decimator Ball.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like I'm just basically doing the matchup in my head, and like the Onager is custom built to mulch a Kuat, and the ball is custom built to like mulch those gladiators one after the other, and like they have nothing to stop it from happening. So,
it depends if he's repairing on the way in and all. He can, that victory with Harrow is.
It's there for a good time, not a long time.
It's not all victories though.
That is all victories. But yeah, I think that this could easily be a 9-2 in Docta's favor. Armchair Jedi can win, but he's got to keep it close, and so he's the disguised destroyer.
Whatever the term we had for it. Yeah. Yeah.
The disguised armed merchantman. And there are other games too, but we're not really going to talk about them. You can look them up on yourself. You can look them up on your own. The Discord has links to all the numbers, and the SteelStrategy.com has all of the lists sorted by original pod seeding. So you can go and look up any matchup that you want to on there, and we'll talk about hopefully some different people in the next round 3 video.
Looking forward to it.
Any parting thoughts?
Keep playing games. I got it's always a fun event. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Nothing of note.
All right.
So.
Well, yep. Fly fast, win big. You folks take care.